Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Timizer. Today I'm going to explain how to use the Thrawn lead Vader team versus Rey, and I'm gonna showcase also how to attack the typical arena Rey Jedi Hybrid team with a Vader lead. So let's take a look at the team I'm using usually in Territory Wars and Grand Arena. This is the team I use when I face a Rey team that contains the heroes. And the reason for using Thrawn lead is that the start sequence of the Rey team with the heroes will lead into Finn passing the turn to Poe, and Poe stunning Admiral Thrawn, and that happens every time. They are programmed to go immediately after Thrawn. So if I use what's start turn, which is a bonus turn and will go always first, if I use the Tomtech on Thrawn, that will make him cleanse that stun, and that stun will give him turn meter. That means he will go immediately after Poe, and he will be ready because he will cleanse the stun. So I will have then the possibility to go immediately and fracture Rey without having a crazy speed on Thrawn, and I will have also the possibility to pass the turn to Traya in order to be able to isolate a tank in case there's anyone with a pre-taunt there. So let's take a look at the team. In case of Thrawn, as you can see, my mod's not that great. I don't even have a matching set on him. What I did here is I went up to Relic 7 with Thrawn to be able to have some flexibility in his modding. And you can, of course, achieve exactly the same with a much better mod set that I'm using here and lower relic levels. So the key is to have him tanky, speedy somehow. You don't need crazy speed because of how the Rey team will start the battle, but nevertheless you will want some speed on him. Potency doesn't matter, critical damage doesn't matter. What I did here is I actually used a critical avoidance arrow on him. And my recommendation would be rather to go with full protection instead of critical avoidance, because critical avoidance would just add some RNG to it, and if both Finn and Poe crit on Thrawn, you can get him into problems. In my case, at Relic 7, he will survive also both critical hits without problems. But at lower relic levels, I would just recommend to go with protection on the arrow, on the triangle, on the cross, and on the circle. Everywhere protection, primaries where you can. Let's take a look at Vader. So I went here with a full crit chance, crit damage set, and speed not that much. And going with 257, of course, full critical damage, 222. Potency, you want to have potency as close to 100% as you can. So when you face, you have to remember that if an enemy has 100% more tenacity than your potency, they will be resisting everything. So I'm able to apply debuffs until tenacity on the enemy of 194%, which is actually quite high, but I've seen Reys with tenacities up to 200%. So tenacity on him, it doesn't matter. You want to go as high on offense, of course, as you can, but more important is to have a very high critical chance. So I'm trying to go above 70 or 75. But if you can go higher without compromising speed or or potency, then please do it. It will help you a lot. So there's also a reason why I didn't go higher on speed than him, and you will see it now. It's you need Bastillation Fallen in this case to go faster than Vader. So in my case, I only have 308 speed on her. I don't have mods without compromising other teams to go higher on speed on her. Health and protection on her doesn't matter, because if the battle goes according to the usual how it usually goes, she will barely get hit. And you want to go as high as in potency as you can on her without compromising speed. Again, here 103. If you can go higher, go higher. The rest, it doesn't matter. Damage, critical chance. It's not a key for her modding. Speed, potency. That's it. So for Traya, I have a mixed bag here. I think I still have mods on her that I used when I was using her for attacking Geonosians. In this case, I think it's a speed set with, yeah, just a normal speed set with some tenacity. It doesn't matter here. You want her a little bit tanky in case you face, because you will be using her probably a lot also when attacking Rey Jedi hybrids on Arena, and in that case they will go after her. For this approach here with Thrawn lead against the heroes, they won't target her immediately. I prefer to have her tanky, so I don't have to switch mods when I have other takes on her. Tenacity is high on her. It doesn't matter for this approach. You want to have a little bit of speed on her. I have here a speed set with 100 extra speed, which is not that crazy, and it will help in case I need to pass the turn to her with Thrawn to isolate the tank, so that Thrawn gets his next turn fast enough to go before Rey goes into her ultimate stance. And Wat Tambor, you want to have him speed and health. That's what you want on him. So in my case, I went with 122 additional speed, and I would recommend to have him over 100k health. And this is not for this approach. For this approach, you just want to have him with speed at 300, something around 300. It will be more than enough. But since Wat is a multi-tool, the keys for his modding are always health and speed. In some cases, you would like to have also some potency. You will see later in my video that my Wat at 53% potency didn't apply the dots I wanted him to do, but well, for most of the cases you want just health and speed. That's the keys for his modding. So that's the team, and now I will be showing the actual attack and the strategy behind it. Okay, now let's see the fight against a Rey team I had on last Territory War. And as you can see, if I put the video, as you can see, it's Rey, Malak, Heroes, R2 composition. So what we are going to do, the first thing we are going to do is we're going to put the tank tech on Thrawn. The reason for it is Finn is going to pass the turn to Poe. Poe is going to stun Thrawn. So if we have the tank tech on him, he's going to get turn meter because of his lead, because he got debuffed, and he's going to cleanse the debuffs because of the taunt tech. So let's see the start. there you go. You see? Cleansed, and now he's able to go. So, since no one, there's no pre-taunt in this team, what it's gonna happen is I'm going to fracture Rey immediately. If there was a pre-taunt there, the approach would be then to pass the turn to Traya to isolate the tank, and then wait for Thrawn again to fracture Rey. In that case, of course, BSF is going to move before him, but it doesn't matter. It only matters that we got a fracture before Rey goes into her ultimate stance. So this is not the case here. No pre-taunt, so it's safe to just go after Rey and fracture her. There we go. I was waiting probably to say something. And there we go. This fracture. Next thing. BSF is going to take a turn, and the key is here to land Fear on Malak. Actually, not so important the Fear itself, because even if Malak takes a turn and applies a shock and he taunts, it's not a problem because Vader is going to bypass any taunt with his new ability. But what we want is to apply as much debuffs on him as possible, and if you apply Fear once it clears BSF's Fear, then when Fear expires, it goes into a big amount of debuffs, and that's what we are going to use in order to be able to one-shot him. So yeah, they take some, do their thing. So there we go. We have now Fear on Malak. So next thing is we are going to put turn meter tech on Vader. You will be asking why not wait and put and use health tech on some of the others and put the turn meter tech on Vader later, since we have Malak there standing and it's gonna prevent Siths from taking Thrawn's turn meter. Well, the tech itself has two roles here. Is to give Vader turn meter, but also to have what assist on his turns. And what assisting on Vader's turns means we are going to be spreading more dots, and that's the engine for our big hits. So what we want to do is put the turn meter tech on him, and now we are going to switch the target to Rey, and while we are calling his new ability, we are going to be targeting Rey, because we are going to try to apply that way a dot from what assisting Vader, and we are going to reduce Thrawn's and Rey's turn meter. There we go. Of course, no. What wasn't able to apply any debuff on her. Well, my Watt has 53% potency, so, and Rey has 100% tenacity in this case, so it was a 50-50 chance. So next thing is we are going to apply more dots, and that's going to clear also the Fear on Malak and transform into more debuffs. For that, we are not going to target Rey, and we are not going to target Malak. In this case, I think I was targeting Poe, if I remember correctly. So there we go. So we hit now Force Crash. So now we have 10 debuffs on Malak, and we have 8 debuffs on Rey. So what we can do now is, before going straight after Malak, we can try to apply some ability blocks, or use the turns to reduce cooldowns. But in this case, since I have enough debuffs on Malak to get rid of him, what I would do is I will one-shoot him and use the rest of the turns of this new ability to reduce again the cooldowns for the Culling Blade. So let's go, see what happens here. Target Malak, 600,000 keys, damage. So thank you very much. Try to apply ability block on Rey, try to apply ability block now on R2, and on Resistance 0 Finn. So now we have again an extra turn for Darth Vader. What we want to do now is again target Rey and use the ability that's given by Thrawn lead, the maneuver, and I hope I switch back to Rey because that's what we have to do. Oh, it used Force Crush first. Okay, doesn't matter. I think I isolated R2 to avoid him doing some crazy stuff with his stealth. Actually, not that important. I gave that to Vader. Here the maneuver. I didn't use the maneuver targeting Rey because she had 0 turn meter. So, and she had already 9 debuffs on her, so the Culling Blade is gonna kill her, yes or yes. So let's go. So throw some ability block first. More dots. And now here we go. As you can see, they hit 500k on Rey. More than enough to take her out 2 times. At that health level, of course. So now the rest of the battle is just trying to, in case of GHC, it will be trying to get your banners back by recovering protection. You will try to stall it. In this case, in Territory Wars, it's just bringing it home, and there's absolutely no threat now for the rest of the team. Even Poe can't do now anything to the team after Rey's gone, and his pal Resistance 0 Finn is gone as well. So just bringing it home. Now they have Poe has hit immunity, so I went back to R2. Now I'm using basics until he's out of his hit immunity, and now I pass it to Vader because I wanted to end with a Culling Blade. And there we go. And it was a nice hit as well. Just for the fanciness of it, 800k. That's it. So now, as a bonus, we are going to see a battle I did in Arena against the Jedi Hybrid team, and this is actually very funny team to use against them. Basically, there are several kinds of Jedi Hybrid teams. You can have most of them will have, of course, Jedi Knight Revan, and this is actually the most annoying one, since you will, if you don't target Jedi Knight Revan first, you will have to kill the Jedi twice, and if Obi-Wan Kenobi is there, then of course killing twice the tank is not funny. So he has also Hermit Yoda there, and it's quite annoying because he can be pushing down Rey's health using her lifeblood and recovering with Hermit Yoda. That means he can be throwing sabers all the time. But as you can see in my video right now, Vader lead has absolutely no issues against them. So you will be able to accumulate a lot of debuffs on all of them. And I think in this video I had a pretty heavy hit on Rey, and I'm going to stop that to see how much it was. So now it's just a matter of hitting the guys around, trying to get the cooldowns for Force Crush back. We are not going to use the saber throw on the first attempt. We're going to accumulate more dots. So now Force Crush again. So now I'm going to pass the taunt tech to Traya. I think this is usually what I do, but here is not that important, since usually if you had here Jedi Knight Revan, he will immediately target her and mark her. That's so in that case you will be using your Traya more as a soft tank than anything else. That's actually the only use for Traya in attacking the Jedi Hybrid teams, because you don't really need to isolate anyone, because Vader will be targeting them very easily, and you will be able to fracture Rey with Thrawn very early, also without any issues. So not a big deal to have Traya other than for being a soft tank. And in this battle, I think I actually use her to isolate Kenobi at some point, but it doesn't actually matter. In this case, I pass it to Traya, isolate, and then I can fracture Rey. So now we have several debuffs, but I'm not happy still with the amount of debuffs I have on her. And of course, you want to be under the new ability of Vader when you throw the saber, because it has additional damage. So now you can see, and you have to be careful not to trigger her, hit immunity. That was pretty close actually. I probably shouldn't have thrown the blade from Traya at her. It was risky. I was risking actually going beyond 50% of her health, and that would have been result in a big problem, because I would have to let the fracture go, and she will go into ultimate, and the fight gets more complicated by a stupid mistake like that. So let's go. I'm going to apply more dots on her. We have 19 dots on her, well, 19 debuffs on her, and I think at that stage I was very happy with the result. And here we have 963,000 K hit on Rey, almost a million damage, and in arena. So in the rest of the battle is again just bringing it home. You don't even need to worry about any of those guys doing anything. Even gas is completely under control there. There's nothing else this team can do. I think I tried to put as many dots on Kenobi to try to get that 1 million hit in arena, which of course didn't happen. Or it actually happened, but spoiler alert, you will see something nasty happened when I hit that high amount of dots on Kenobi. I was very unhappy about that. So yeah, it's fracturing now Kenobi for the sake of it. Still applying more dots. So here I think I went after gas. So basically there. The hidden gas didn't crit, so it wasn't that high. So now I think here I was waiting here I was waiting for Kenobi to take a turn, because he has hit immunity. You can of course use that time to apply more debuffs on him. So 40, 49. Could have used Fear on him. Could use Force Crush on him. So now he's... So, and here I went into the big hit, of course. For the big hit you want to use his new ability, and under it, well, at this stage the debuffs went a little bit down. Some of the debuffs expired, but it was still 33, so I was expecting a very big hit. And what happened? It actually didn't show any numbers. So it crit, and it crit with 30 something debuffs. That was a hit beyond 1 million, and it was in arena within the 5 regular minutes, and that's why Darth Vader is fun. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching me. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye. GMStar. GMizer out.